The best way to improve your English listening skills is by listening to more English. And that is what we are doing right here, right now. 5 minutes of British English listening practice. Today, the topic is interviews. Interviews. Now, I haven't actually had many interviews in my life. I have had a few jobs, but not many interviews. For my first job, which I think I've spoken about this, haven't I? The jobs I've done in my life. Yes, I have. My first job, it was at a surf school. So I already used to go to the surf school as, I guess, a student. I guess you could call me, or like a customer, I guess. And I knew the owner anyway, or the manager. So the manager was a part of the Surf Lifesaving Club, and I was a part of the Surf Lifesaving Club. So he knew who I was, and I basically just asked if I could have a job for the summer, and he said yes. For lifeguarding, my friend that was already lifeguarding called me. I think he called basically all of our friends and was like, we don't have enough lifeguards this year. You need to lifeguard this year. So that summer I lifeguarded. I didn't really have to do an interview, I don't think. I think I had to submit an application because they had to accept people that way, but I didn't have an interview. I did an internship for a charity called Children Change Colombia. I did have to do an interview for that though, and that was just online. And I think they asked me some relatively basic interview questions. It was quite chill. There were 2 people there. So I think I've been quite lucky. Oh, obviously I didn't have to interview myself for English teaching. But yeah, I've been quite lucky with not having to interview because they are very stressful. I've done some practice interviews in school, but again, that doesn't really count, does it? So I know some friends that have had some interviews. One recently who did a master's degree, or is currently doing his master's degree, but had applied for a job starting later in the year. And that was a very, very rigorous process. So rigorous, very demanding, very detailed, very tough, very difficult. And I know that he had a series of interviews, but also had to do some extra kind of tests. Like there was a logical reasoning test, and not common knowledge, but I can't remember the name of the type of test, but basically like problem solving and kind of IQ test, that sort of thing. And then logical reasoning, so kind of explaining what you're doing and why, or making a decision and explaining what you're doing and why. He said that there were some role play things as well, which is crazy. There are some people that, or some companies that make applicants or make candidates go through many, many stages, many interview stages. And that sounds very, very difficult and annoying and stressful because you don't get paid to do them. You just waste loads of time if you don't get accepted. So for that reason, I am very thankful that I've never had to do too many interviews in my life. And I know that some interviews, there are multiple people there, and I can only imagine being asked a question that you have absolutely no idea what to say, and you are just sat there looking like a fool, and you have to make something up on the spot. You have to make something up there and then. Have you guys ever had an interview? Have you ever had a difficult interview? Have you ever had an interview that went really well? An interview that went really badly? Let me know in the comments. If you've got any good advice, let me know as well. Maybe that could be a topic for another episode. Interview advice. I guess I'm probably not the best person to be giving interview advice, considering I've not done many interviews. But hey, it could work. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you tomorrow.